another episode of Reseller Evolution. Carl, how's it going? My name's
Good.
Scott. Sorry.
How you?
Let me start that again.
Oh my God, dude.
All right. Welcome to another episode of Reseller Evolution. I'm Scott.
And I'm Carl.
How's it going, Carl?
Good. Really good.
Got a little tongue-tied there. Got a little ahead of myself.
And how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yep.
Slightly less stressed, but still, I don't even want to say overwhelm's a word because it's actually going smoother than expected. But I still got a lot of work ahead of me to get all this stuff out of here, out of the storage unit into here, and then move it through here. But it's actually going pretty good. So it's a big relief when you can actually see progress. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't even know if stress is the word, to be honest with you, but it's a lot of work, dude. Like today I kind of slept in a little bit, but like I'm starting between 8 and 10 in the morning, but I'm working till midnight, 1 o'clock, like at my own pace. Don't get me wrong. And I'll take a little, I'm going to go watch TV for half an hour or something. Right. But yeah, no, I'm glad to see the progress that's happening. So so I'm good right now, to be honest.
How often are you driving down to Waterford?
Well, okay, so the storage unit is in Simcoe,
Okay.
but that's the point too. Like, I'm doing multiple tasks at the same time. So would I be going as much if there wasn't for the storage unit? No, but there's a lot of stuff I'm still doing there, like going to the Waterford Antique Market, changing things up there. So I'd say probably 3 times a week right now, but that will go down to 1 once I get everything streamlined.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Which is fine. Just once a week. So
yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You don't want
to... but I'm doing multiple things, right? So like taking things to auction, and there's been a lot going on at the booth. And to be honest with you, had a really good week. The one day in the weekend seems to be slow for whatever reason, but I talked to Steph about it, and the store's doing fantastic. So, I'm not really 100% sure, but my sales overall are averaging out. I would say July was my slowest, but August is, I'm ahead of schedule right now. So, so that's good. So just a little lull, but I think everybody felt it to a degree, but the store had some really banger days. So I don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah. For me, the market was fine. Like, it was okay. It was busy. I don't know why. It was fairly busy this weekend, but John wasn't visiting me. And Serge was selling outside. So that's kind of interesting. He wanted to get rid of a bunch of stuff, and then he got rid of a bunch of stuff, and he did pretty good. I won't say how much because it's his thing, but he did well. So I got some work done in the booth too, which was good. Sales online and being kind of slow. But you know what's interesting is, like, eBay released their results the other week,
Yeah.
I think last week. And their gross market value or whatever, like the amount of stuff they sell, actually has done really well for the quarter, which is very strange, right? Like, you hear all this stuff. Like I said, we've been talking about it. Like, some people say things are great. Other people are saying things are slow. It's hard to tell too, because we're talking from a Canadian perspective.
Yeah.
It might be different in the United States, but eBay did really well. So,
well,
what's up with that?
I haven't been listening because I've been moving, and I did feel a bit a slowdown without question. But I mean, you know my weekend and what's going on today, so I can't complain at all. Once I started listing, I started selling. So
yeah.
So I don't know. I think I helped eBay a lot with those toy soldiers. I think
they also like toy soldiers. Yes,
they're gonna call me up, Scott. Don't move again, man. We had a bad quarter coming up. And then, okay, I'm glad you moved in here. We guys,
start listing.
Yeah, I mean, those toy soldiers are a blessing. Like, I mean, they're a savior just because of how easy they are. Over the weekend, I sold a fair amount of them, but like I was saying to you, 50-50. You know what I mean? Today
Yeah.
is all toy soldiers. It's 13 of them, but over the weekend it was 50-50. You know, what I like items to toy soldiers. The thing about the toy soldiers that makes them so good is I got repeat buyers coming in and they buy more than one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially when there's combined shipping because they're getting a better deal because they don't have all the shipping costs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you buy one, let's say you're in Canada and you buy one, it's $15. But if you buy two or three, it's still around the $15. Once it gets four or five, then I might charge $20. But you're getting like I'm seeing like I'm taking I think there was one, it was $160 in shipping. He requested an invoice and I put it down to 35 and it was like $42. But he bought that was last week going to Alberta and he bought I think it was 13 or 11 or 13 last week or something like that. For some reason 1360. But let's even 11. Like I mean, well, whatever 15 times, I guess it would have been pretty close to 11. So, um, anyways, so you can see where they're saving a lot by buying more. You know what I mean?
I would like we don't make any more money just if we had to ship them out individually and pay shipping for each one. Like I have no
I do
problem.
because it usually chart even going to the U.S. or Canada. It's usually in Canada. Some of them do get expedited light,
Yeah.
but they're usually around $11, and I charge 15 to Canada,
Okay.
and it's usually $8, and I charge $10 to the U.S.
Right.
So I'm making a couple of bucks on the shipping on them too if they buy them individually.
Mm.
But
I would still rather put them all in one box.
well, there is a downside to that, Carl.
Okay.
Like so, if there's 11 or maybe even 20, you're fine. But remember that guy in California, and he bought like two
I
thousand
know.
dollars worth in one
I
box. Like
yeah.
that's a lot of weight, dude. These are
That is yeah.
metal soldiers.
Yeah.
So you want to put a lot in one box, but there is a limit to that.
There is a limit to
I
that.
shouldn't say there's a downside. There's a limit to that. Put it that way.
Like when I bought an auction lot like a month ago of toy soldiers, but the old ones, the lead ones,
Mm-hmm.
and you put them all in a bin.
It's heavy.
I couldn't lift the bin.
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, I got to take these out bit by bit because it's way too heavy."
Yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah, I actually
But
just I displayed my soldiers. I should put on. I should actually use that Instagram thing again because everyone cares about me and my little collection. But I kept some of my toy soldiers I bought from that, and now I have them displayed. A bunch of American and American West toy soldiers, well painted. Hey, I'll keep
nice.
that stuff for a while,
Yeah.
for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've kept some of mine. I have them displayed up there and they look so cool, man. They look
they
good,
do look cool. Yeah,
you know. But no, everything's going good. I'm the auction they're so busy. They're so full. So my stuff doesn't come up till the 25th of August. So and I'm about ready to take my second truckload today or tomorrow, probably today. Going to take it up there, but they haven't even auctioned off the first load yet. So it's
oh
going to be,
no,
but they have a huge setup. So these guys are very good, very professional. They got a lot of people in there taking photo. Like they have a good system, but they've been doing it for 25 years, right, or more. So
mm-hmm.
so um, anyway, yeah. So that's that, and everything's going good. How about you?
Like I said, the booth was good. It was fine. Nothing mind blowing. Had a couple more people offering to sell me stuff for my little AI sign, so that was good. Neither of the things was anything like one guy was offering me records that have classical music, and it's like, yeah, no, I'm good. But I appreciate the offer, right? The other one was someone wanted to sell a clock, but I mean a phone, but I looked it up and it was only worth 50 maybe or 60, and they wanted 40, and it's like, yeah, that won't work for me. But like I said, it's no work. I'm just sitting there and they're offering
But
things. Like,
yeah,
I
but
like
did
that.
you have to? Did you? Not that you had to, but did you? Did you explain to them why it didn't work?
Yeah.
Okay. What
So
was their reaction?
they were fine.
Oh, no,
So they
but
show.
I don't mean like were they surprised?
I don't think they were surprised. So how it worked is they didn't have the phone with me. They showed me a picture,
Yeah,
and the guy says it sells for 80, and I was like 40. And then I said, well, I'll check eBay, right? And there was one sold for 80, but a lot of them sold for like 40 or 30, that kind of real range.
yeah,
And I said, well, to be honest, the most I would ever offer you is 20, and that's no more higher than that. And that would
yeah,
be just honestly a sympathy buy.
yeah,
And I'm not interested really. I didn't say that bit, but I said 20 would be my absolute max. And I said, but you try Facebook. I said, you'll get more on Facebook. Try yourself. And I'm always here if you want, right? Like I
yeah.
left it open.
Or try selling it on eBay yourself,
Yeah,
right? If
exactly.
you want eBay dollars, then sell it on eBay.
True. They didn't mention eBay. I was just using eBay as the comps,
Okay.
but that's how I handled that, anyways. Because
Yeah.
I'm really not that interested in that phone. It was a Mickey Mouse phone. It wasn't anything special.
Right. Right.
Uh,
And
so
that stuff, dude, it's really misleading. If it's what I'm picturing, it's kind of like the M&M figures, like it's that plastic kind of thing. Like,
yeah,
okay, there might be the one-off that sells for good, but you don't know why it's sold for higher comps. Like, is it by a different maker? Is there something slightly different about it? Is it in the box, but they're not showing? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there can be a lot
it,
of
there could be a
extras.
lot of variables, right?
Yeah,
So, and there could be a lot of them out there. So yeah, 100 might have sold, but there might be 2,000 listings. You know what I mean? They don't
there's
they
that
don't
too.
look at all that shit. You know what I
I
mean? So
always forget to look at that stuff myself, to be honest.
well, I'm looking at it more and more right now because that's going to determine whether I put it in the booth or online in a lot of cases, right? So,
Mm,
um, but it's I don't know. It is what it is, right? So, but I just wish people, and I don't even know. Maybe I'm just shooting crap here, but and I just sometimes I wish people that expect a lot kind of understood what all is involved. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, you know, I don't know. It is what it is.
it
But
was, yeah, exactly. Like
at
this
least you
was.
didn't feel obligated to buy it, Carl. That's the
Oh
main
God,
thing,
no, no,
right?
no, no, no. I don't feel obligated. Like when the guy for the classical records, I just said like no,
Yeah.
and I tell the truth. Like I'm interested in rock and punk,
Yep.
right, and not interested in classical music or country music. It's not going to sell, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I guarantee you those records are in great shape though.
yeah, I know, right?
You get all these crappy records that nobody wants. Their condition is immaculate because they've been listened to maybe once.
Yeah, exactly. Like I donated records this week to Value Village,
Yeah.
and some of them are still sealed. That's
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
valuable they were.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
That's hilarious.
yeah. So, but that was good. One of my favorite. So I saw Tatiana. She's watches Two Dogs Digs. She came to say hi. That was nice.
Oh, good.
And
Good.
then, the other good thing was I saw a really old friend of mine from when I was 19, and I lost complete touch with my friend Katie. So it was awesome to see her. She was from my BBS days, well back, and at that time in my life, I was painfully shy, and she helped crack that shell. So
Oh,
anyways, it's good to see like those friends. You kind of always wonder what happened to them. You know what I mean? And they're,
yeah. 100%.
so it was really good to see them. Um, yeah. So for the booth, that was it. Like online, I sold some Schleich horses.
Oh,
You
wow.
remember those? Not
Yep.
for big money,
No,
like
no, but still,
40 or $40. Like I'll get them if they're cheap and they're in really
nothing
good
wrong.
condition.
Nothing wrong with that, dude.
No, nothing wrong with that. Uh, so and then for sourcing, I didn't go out. Like I didn't do like honestly, I have so much stuff. I sourced from the market when I was at the flea market. I sourced a couple of things. Some of the things I put almost directly into redonating. Some Polaroid cameras that are completely worthless. I might put them in the booth for like $5 just to get my money back.
Yeah.
The funny thing is there was some Polaroid film there, but they had all been opened.
Oh,
So I didn't take them, right?
yeah.
But then the guy I bought it from came and gave them to me because he knows me a bit. And I said, thanks. But like, when they're unsealed like that, I wasn't that interested. Anyways, we get home and it turns out they had pictures in them
Oh.
of, yeah, don't get too excited,
Oh.
about 50 pictures of people in the call center. All this, you could see that their souls had left their body a long time ago. It was all from like 1988 or 89 or something like that.
Yeah.
I might actually sell them. I might put them online and say old Polaroids call center office situation and just see if someone will buy these things. You
I
never know.
guarantee they'll buy them.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. From the 80s? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
think so?
Oh, or 90s. Yeah. Well, I think so. That's why I have them, right? Like that's
Yeah,
why I just
I
didn't
think they
throw them
will,
out.
for sure.
But it was kind of funny. I'm just going to show him one. It's like, so what I'm showing is a lady
Oh,
in
yeah,
a,
for
in
sure.
a cubicle, and they all have their headsets on
Yep.
because I'm pretty sure it's a call center, and they
Yep.
actually had cubicles at that point in life before we got put into like the hell that is an office now. Anyway, this is kind of funny.
Dude,
So,
they'll, without question, those will sell.
well, how much should I ask? That's the question. I
How
got
many
like
you got?
probably about 40.
So put them in two lots of 20 and ask $60 a lot.
$60, a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. And I wouldn't, yeah, sell them at the same time. Like, but I would put them in two lots of 20. If you got 40, yeah.
Okay, well,
See what
cool.
happens.
I'll report back.
Any like super hot ladies?
No,
Really? It was the 80s, dude. There was
I,
all sorts of hot.
like I said, their souls have been removed from their bodies at this point.
That's true. Okay.
I feel sorry for them.
Um,
It'll be hard work.
but still, no big parties like on Wolf of Wall Street. Like
Yeah,
no.
no, I knew that's what. Don't get too excited here. Also, although some of them are grandma's party there, so I guess I can't count those. I forgot about those. Grandma's birthday party. Yeah,
But no,
but I got other good stuff in the market too, like some cameras and stuff, which will do well. So
so
I'll
somebody might
let
come
that.
in and offer you like 35 or 40, and then probably jump on it, right?
I'll
But
put best offer on it. Usually I never do, but I'll put best offer on it. If I'm going to put it at what you said, 60.
yeah, 65.
So I'll put best offer and just see. You never know.
Yeah, like somebody might like those for for whatever reason, right? So
I don't. Well, who knows? You could use it for like backdrop for like I don't know, a film set. Like that has definitely happened.
yeah, yeah.
So I don't know how the people would feel that their photos are being used for a film set, but
Well, they're not around anymore, like you said, right?
I'm
So
not that old. That's actually probably when these photos were taken is when I first started, actually, to be honest.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Um, yeah, no, I just see what you get. Have you looked up? Have you Googled Polaroids from a call center?
no, I didn't.
Right, dude. Sometimes you're surprised what's there, but um, you never know, right? Like you might. Well, let me do that right now, dude. Why don't we do? Let's get into it, right?
I've been like doing the weird ones. I also bought a bunch of slides, but I'm paying like nothing pretty well for them. So I'll put them up and see what happens. Just do the hell of it, because like Adam was doing well in slides, right? But what I didn't realize that these slides were kind of like you would get them at a park, so it wasn't like someone's personal slide collection. Oh, there is some like that, and I kind of prefer those. When you might see old hot rods or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Uh, and they come in the Kodak turntables where you put the slides in. Those are worthless. I remember I talked about the machines, but this is just the holder. So I donate the holders because I don't want that big bulky stuff around. I'm pretty sure there's almost zero demand for them. But yeah, and I got a bunch of minifigs at the Value Village. That was pretty good. I know some of the Star Wars ones will pay for all the Lego by themselves just for one or two of them. So
well, it's funny when you put in photos, like it's all nakedness.
I know that's what I found too. When I mean by yeah by accident. Yeah. When I was putting in slides, it was all X-rated stuff, which I thought we weren't allowed to sell, but I don't know what I don't know what's going on with the rules there.
Yeah.
Scott has too
I
much of a smile on his face right now looking up these slides.
I just see some like
Yeah,
craziness,
I
dude.
saw the same craziness too.
I just wish I would have took Polaroids of the party days back in the day, because I would be having a fortune right now. But um, yeah, everything is pretty much smart. Oh, there's an ex
Yeah,
girlfriend.
that
There's
was,
there's an ex girlfriend of mine there, laying sideways,
it's
nothing.
it's
But
funny. I had the same experience. I'm like, oh, this is all smut. Yeah.
all right, well, let's do the show tomorrow. I'm kind of busy right now, Carl. I'm gonna have to.
You know, if you ever want unusual bolos, this is the show for you. Yeah.
I just this is bringing back memories of a younger time.
Anywho, before we get too distracted. Yeah, so that was like I said, I didn't really source too much this week. I didn't go to garage sales. I didn't go to the market. Oh, I went to Valley Village, but just because I had to go out anyways, to be honest. I got way too much stuff. I got Bionicles, like the
Yeah,
Lego stuff, but I hate getting Lego. Like on one hand, it can be really good. The other hand, it's like it goes into my death pile because they're worth a lot more. Like the kit would be worth like a couple $100, but to go through the pieces, ugh. So
yeah, yeah.
we'll see. I just couldn't leave it behind for $8. You know, I actually bought a transformer without a head because the damn thing sells for over $200.
We'll sell the parts.
Well, that's why I thought. You know, it's also
I
$8. But
I had a robot that sold for about that much. It was some sort of transformer. It was a black one, has kind of an elephant with the tusks and everything, and then
yeah,
the feet I think were lions or something. But anyway, I can't remember what it is. It was some sort of a transformer, but I think it was like a Voltron, or it was from a different. It wasn't from the Transformers themselves show. Anyway, um, when it's all complete, I think it was like $200-300, and mine wasn't fully complete. Still got a good for it, but I have another one now, and I'm just gonna part it out. And I think the parts go for like 25 to, depending on which part it is, to $40 just for parts. So
yeah, I think I can get $50 for this. I'm not quite sure. Like,
50
I
bucks the way it is, like for
yeah,
everything else. Yeah.
yeah, without the head. It's big though, which is kind of annoying. So that's it's kind of iffy to be honest. But
Does it come apart like from its present state? Like, can you take arms off and legs off? And
well, the head's missing, so the head can go off.
yeah, but that could have been broken off. I don't know. Like, right? Like,
There
you
were
don't want to
some
break an arm off and sell the broken arm off, but if it does pop off, they can pop it on another one. Then
exactly.
that
Yeah, yeah. So it had a container inside of it with bits in it, which is good. So like I don't know, they're weapons or something. So mostly I got it because my friend John gave me a transformer.
yeah.
And I was like, John, why are you giving me toys? You don't know about toys. And the Dan Transformer sold this weekend. So I was pissed off at him for that. It's like, damn it. He brought in this Transformer toy and it sold within a week. So
Yeah. There's Transformers are going. Some of them can, like the older one. I think there was one that went for like $1,000 or $800
yeah.
or something. Like,
None of these are vintage though. They're not G1
okay,
generation one.
yeah,
None of these were generation ones. This is just but they're not like McDonald's ones either, right? You could tell like the one that sold on the weekend.
yeah,
I can't remember how much I got for him. It wasn't a ton, but he didn't buy it for. He didn't pay a lot, but you could tell it was a quality one. Like it wasn't just the McDonald's ones that are out there. I'm just curious how much it sold for. But yeah, and this one I have today is a plastic one. It's not one of the old. He got $25 for it. Like this is
U.S.
a
or
plastic
Canadian?
one, Canadian because it's in the booth.
Oh, okay,
So he did fine, right? Like he bought it for $5 or something, and he doesn't have to do anything. He just threw it in the booth.
yeah.
So that's what the booth is good for, like we've talked about before.
All right, well,
So
good. Very good.
source that stuff. The other funny thing is this weekend, so we have to pay in advance, right, for the month. So I paid this Sunday, and they gave us a vendor code of conduct sheet, and having a market is probably like, especially a flea market's herding cats, right?
Yeah.
And I've never had a problem. Everyone around me's been great, right? And you know, around me, there's been respect. Like one thing that they're very careful on is like if you go over the lines, I'm sure it's the same way in the antique booth, is that they put little stickers or something on the ground that shows you the dimensions of your booth.
Uh, they have done that. Yeah. They don't do
Oh,
that to every booth, but I've seen booths where that's been done. Yeah.
oh, really? Okay. Well, for us, it's pretty strict. If you go over that line,
Yeah.
they'll come and talk to you, because the second they start letting that go, it's gonna be bad, right?
Yeah. So I kind of misspoke. They put the lines there for different reasons, and I'll explain after you're finished. But I,
So
yeah.
yeah, so they gave us the vendor code of conduct, and some of them are pretty funny. And hey, I don't get me wrong, they have to do this. I have no problem with them giving us this sheet,
Yeah.
because then they can say we told you, right? Like if someone's a problem, they can say, "Well, you got a sheet. We know you got the sheet because you got it with your receipt, and
Yeah.
this is your warning." But some of them are funny. It's like no spreading, promoting rumors, or false information or sowing discord. Yeah, good luck with that. It's like, come on, this is going to be high. There's going to be rumors flying around. This
For
is like
sure.
classic high school kind of situation, right? A big group, rumors are going to fly, right?
I'll be honest. To be honest, like there's really there's really no trash talking, and maybe because it's an older crowd, but there's really no trash talking. Like there might be a point made about something that
Yeah,
someone's doing or done, but there's no trash talking. You know what I mean? Like someone might say something about, well, someone's got really low prices, which brings down the value of the market. Well, that's not really trash talking. That's a valid point making. You know what I mean?
oh, I've heard that, like that person's prices are too high, too low, their place is a mess,
Yeah,
right? And usually there's truth to some of that, right?
yeah.
But
But
it's
there's
up to
no
each booth
like
person, it's their booth.
your mom dresses you funny and wears army boots or something like that. Like there's none of that kind of stuff. You
I
know?
haven't heard too much personal stuff, right?
Yeah. Remember what that was a big one in public school. Your
Yeah.
mama dresses you funny and wears army boots or something. I don't know.
That was in Simpsons, and Bart was like, "Of course, my mom dresses me. What do you think? I'm a 5-year-old kid."
Yeah, really. Eh? How do you argue back to that? Yeah, my mom does me.
uh, so yeah, stay within your space. Like that one, I agree with, because, like I said,
She's
if
my stepmom, and she's a stripper.
Jesus,
Oh, I don't know. Did I just get out of line there,
I
Greg?
don't know where you're going. I'll have to give you a vendor. I'll have to give you a code of conduct for the podcast. Um, keep it clean. Yeah, that's reasonable. But this one actually got me. No cardboard boxes uh left during the week for storage. And I do that all the time. Because they say the cardboard gets wet because it gets really humid in there, eh? This building, and then it starts stinking. So I have no sense of smell, so that's one of my superpowers. But everyone I've asked said, yeah, the market stinks.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh
it can
any
be
funny
part of its
ones?
charm too, right? Like,
It is a bit. Like what can you find? Like I can tell you one thing you told me a while ago is like people are happy digging through boxes. And I found that's very true for DVDs. They'll sit there in the corner and dig through. Like I have a
I
couple
told you
huge.
that. Yeah,
You
yeah,
did tell me that. I just
yeah.
said that.
DVDs.
Yeah, and they dig through. They will sit there on the floor digging through
Yep.
DVD boxes. So, which is good because
And,
I have a crap
and
load
they're
of
gonna
DVDs.
probably buy 5 to 10,
I
right?
sell them every weekend.
Yeah.
Not 5 to 10, but maybe 3 to 5, like or whatever. Like good
No,
enough.
but if
Like,
someone's sitting on the floor digging, they're going to buy more than one. They're going to be they're there. They're digging because they're looking for what they want for their collection or whatever, right? So,
and who knows what that's going to be.
yeah,
All right. And none of it's horror DVDs. All of it is like whatever.
yeah. 99.9% of mine are horror.
yeah, that's the way to go. But when I get them, they've actually been pre-screened because I found out who I bought them from because I bought them from at auction,
Yeah,
and the guy who's selling them is screening out that stuff, and I'm getting
yeah.
the leftovers. But I'm paying like 10 cents to 20 cents a DVD at most. So, uh, here's the funny one: no pressure sales. So I never like that when people do that. I haven't really seen it too much, but I'm not a fan of that. But no poaching customers. Do not actively draw customers away from another vendor's booth. I've never seen that, but I've been very conscious of that. Like, what I don't want to do is like if someone's looking at records or and going into another booth saying, "Hey, I'm looking for records," I'm not going to say, "Hey, I have records over here too," right? Because like it's just not worth it. Because I might after they've looked through, if I think of all their records, I might say, "Hey, I have some over here too," but I'm not gonna bring them over to my booth, right? Because the last thing you want to do is not get along with people around you, especially when you're there for those all
Well,
that time.
there's a difference, right? There's a difference between saying, "Hey, I got some records too." When you're done there, you might want to check these out. That's fine in my books. I don't have a problem with a vendor doing that. But then you say, like, I don't know, they got a Metallica record for $30, and the guy's got it in his hand. He goes, "I'll sell you mine for 20."
Oh, that would be
That's
bad.
that's bad.
That's bad.
And
Like,
sometimes I think, and I don't 100% know, but I think sometimes that happens.
oosh.
I know, and it's one vendor in particular, and I don't want to get into it too much, but I've heard stories, and I don't know. Anyway, I like if I caught someone doing that, I'd be a little bit upset.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. Like, what I might do is if they're in my booth and are looking through my records and they're almost done or whatever, I might say, "Hey, just so you know, they have records over there." So I'll do the opposite,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, for sure. We do that too. In fact, it gets to the point where we even sometimes say somebody come in looking for something and just say, "Listen, I don't know. I don't see that item in here." Like if it's a unique item, for the most part, I think I would have, well, I know so and so had it. You know what I mean? Something like that. But if they're getting to the point where I searched the whole thing, I just wanted to ask you in case you knew there was something around. We'll say, well, why don't you go check the antique store down the road? They might have it, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah, I totally
right.
do that. Yeah.
And I think there's something to say about that kind of thing. They used to call each other, but then there was a fallout for a different reason. It was advertising. I won't get into it, but it was an advertising thing. And they had a falling out, but they used to sit like, "Hey, do you guys got this over there? Do you know?" And because someone's here looking for it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so teamwork's usually the best way to deal with things. But anyway, kind of rambling on.
So anyways, there's just some of the funny rules that they have, like but well, like I said, you have to do this stuff because you know, like I don't know, I haven't heard any gossip, but probably there were some people who were a problem. Because let's be honest, some of the people at the flea markets are very unusual,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Well,
people who
which
try.
makes it fun. That to me, that
Oh,
makes it
it's
fun.
great personalities. I
Yeah,
agree. Yeah, it is fun, but yet we don't want too
sometimes
much.
people don't have the filter that they should.
They,
You know what I mean?
yeah. So I'm not against swearing. Like I have no problem with that, but I kind of do wish they had that on here a little bit. But
Yeah.
I
Well,
get
you
it.
don't want to hear the F word when your 5-year-old's walking next to you, right? So
That's yeah. But they didn't put it there, so they obviously weren't worried about that aspect.
yeah,
But
yeah,
and even then, I'm like, hey, I'm not going to tell someone to behave in a way. Just that's how I feel. But whatever, I'm not upset about it. So yeah, that was all like my exciting anything. So how was your week? It was all about me. I took over here a little bit, but
no, I think I started out with it. Everything is going good. Had some good sales just before the show. They had ordered some toy soldiers and stuff. I think I got 13 of them going out today. So they weren't paid for because one guy wanted an invoice for a couple, and another guy was going to pay me on Wednesday. So everything's paid this morning. So today's going to be a good day. On eBay, The booth's been doing good. Well, has been doing very good as well. Um, like I said, August is ahead of itself right now, so
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. So everything's going good. Just it's all about moving this product, Carl, and getting out of the storage unit. When you, it's not even the payment like through $300. Excuse me, $300 each unit, and I have two of them. If you needed them to process stuff, then you need them to process stuff. But when it's just sitting there, it drives me nuts because it's just eating the value.
Yeah.
So it's really, it irritates me. You know what I mean? So the, that's moving quicker than I anticipated. So that's good. I mean, I give myself to the end of August. I think I should be out of that one unit within a week or two. So I should be finished that clearing that unit out before the end of August. So that's good. Um, so that's just kind of where I am right now. So I think things are good as long as I keep listing. I seem to keep selling, and we'll see how it goes. We're getting into Q4, so I'd like to have 1,000 listed by Q4, like before Q4 gets here.
Yeah.
That's kind of my goal, and then we'll just go from there. So, and then obviously you keep listing through Q4. So that's kind of my goal. What's really a game changing in my gut on how to deal with this stuff is that auction. And I was recommended this auction by somebody I really respect their value and appreciate. They've been going there for a while, so we'll see how that pans out. So
And
to,
this is a
to
local
clear
one
up,
to where you're living now?
what's that?
Is it more of a local one to where you're living now?
No,
No.
it's
Okay.
not. It's not any difference of a distance from where I was living to where I am living now. It's just kind of center north, to be honest with you. It's probably the exact same distance,
Right.
but it is an hour away.
Hmm.
But I'm taking 50 to 60 items and every 2 weeks,
Okay.
right? So, but I make a day of it. So if I go do that today, I'm going to finish this here, package my stuff up, go drop a bunch of stuff off, go to the post office, drop the stuff out of the post office, go into Simcoe and grab a bunch of stuff and out of the storage unit, and I'll just make a full day of traveling. So,
Yeah.
which is fine. I don't mind it. I'm just not listing, but I'm still prepping stuff for selling. So
Still working.
it's still working. It's still doing shit. So,
Yeah.
and then Fridays is kind of the day that I want to be doing my boost, right? Like, so that's kind of my goal. I've been doing maybe a little bit more because I still have a reason to go into grab stuff out of the storage unit. But once the storage units are clear, like I just want to go in once a week, make a big day about it every Friday, have everything tagged and ready to go. So I don't have to mess around writing out tags and all this stuff. Everything is
Yeah.
cleaned, ready to go in boxes, and I just take the boxes in, set the stuff up, and it's make a quick day of it. So kind of rambling on, but that's the goal. That's the process going forward. And I'm actually looking forward to having a situation where everything is flowing like it needs to be. There's no needing to go to the storage unit. Everything is just flowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you'll get there.
Oh, for
You're
sure,
going that
for sure.
direction for
Like I
sure.
said, I'm getting there quicker now. Oh, I'll tell you one thing. For the first time in about 5 years, I did not go out yard selling. Yep. There was really no town wides, at least locally anyway. And I didn't go. I just didn't go. I just had too much stuff. The main reason is that pick with all the cars. With all the
Yeah.
cars and the Ronson lighter display and all that pop display thing. I just thought like I don't need to go out and buy more stuff that I have to deal with which is going to take away from what I need to deal with. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm
Yeah.
creating. I'm not advancing myself by going out and grabbing more stuff. What I need to do is deal with the stuff that's here. So, I might do that again this weekend. Probably I will. But the following weekend, there's a yard sale, community yard sale that I did extremely well with that last year. Last year was the first time this community did it. So this will be the second time. So there's still going to be it's kind of like fresh inventory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's going to be people that didn't join last year that are going to join for the first time, and who knows what you're going to find. So I will be going to that one. Um, and but that'll be 2 weekends back to back without without going yard selling. It doesn't mean I didn't source, because I did source a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
um, but it'll be 2 weekends in a row without going to yard sales.
Yeah. And for
Which
me, it's
wasn't as much pain as I thought, Carl. I thought I
I
was
know,
gonna
implode.
yeah, like, oh my god, I gotta get out there. What am I doing? I'm such an idiot.
Oh, FOMO. Yeah. Or especially when other people show you stuff that they got, right? Then it's like, oh. But
Yeah.
I have too much, like I'm repeating, but I should list the stuff I have. So it's all good.
Yeah.
You know, one piece of, not that there's much details on it, but one piece of news that did come out is Canada Post actually rejected the offer. The
I
members.
heard Jamie Thrift on Fire. I saw his video where he talked about that. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that. So
Yeah.
maybe there's more information there, but it doesn't really. It's nothing has changed immediately from that. So, but it was news that came out this last week.
Well, from what I understand from listening to Thrift on Fire, go check
Yeah.
his channel out on YouTube. Jamie had said that it was Canada Post's final offer, which is it really? Like, I don't know. It could be, but it's their final offer. So I don't know the details of it either, but that was one of the things that kind of stood out, is like, are they going to take a hard stance from here on? And what move does the employees that rejected the, where do they stand now? Like, what are they expecting? So I don't know all those details, but
I was
I don't
hoping it was going to
I don't know.
pass and we could put it behind us. That's all. And like I said, I haven't heard of any, like, they're not going to not deliver the mail. I haven't heard that. So
Yeah.
that's the big fear, of course.
I'm just trying to play it day by day and doing what I can control.
Yeah.
I mean, it costs money, but the other option is UPS, FedEx. Those options are still there, which I
Yeah.
do not like. Don't get me wrong, because they're much more expensive. Except for bigger things, I still use UPS every now and then.
Yeah.
But I only can control what I can control, and if things come into fruition that kind of get in my way, then I pivot from there, and that's all I can do. And I don't know what all the answer is. Like, I know some of the prices at this auction, I could be doing better by taking stuff to the auction. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm selling it quicker, and there is a premium coming off there, but I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to photograph it. I don't have to do other things, right? And then there's other things that obviously don't do as well. So, do those things go to the booth? And you can watch the history of the auction to kind of see what they're selling. You know what I mean? To kind of have a
They're
graph,
hard too,
because they're doing over 1,000 lots per auction.
That's a big auction. Yeah.
Yeah, they do over 1,000 lots per auction. They're doing the one that I go to or submitting stuff to is every Monday. But they also do other things like estate auctions, which are Tuesdays and third. Like, they could be through the week, which they go to a house and sell the estates, like
That's interesting.
the contents of that estate.
Oh.
So they have multiple auctions going on throughout the week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they've been doing it for over 25 years. So, like, these guys are they've got a big following, right? So they've and their pictures are great, like they're big pictures, like they get in close. I wasn't happy with a couple things that they described but that's my fault because I should have helped them describe it because they don't know everything of what it is and how to describe it. But there was a couple things I'm like, oh, you didn't put that in the title. That should be in the title. But that isn't their fault, right? So that's my fault. So now that I'm gaining experience on that, I'm putting green painter's tape with the title of what this should be called. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
And I did that for a few items. Don't get me wrong. I did that for a few items, but I should have done it for every item.
Hey, if you make their lives easier, they're happy.
But how wrong is it of me to expect them to know? Right? Like that's
Yeah.
what I'm like. I can't be upset with them because they want the more money as much as I do, right? Because
Yeah.
they can get a commission off that. So
Yeah.
it's me, it's my fault, right? So but I mean that was my first one, and I'm like that I took to them, and I'm like, you know what? Like I'll this time there won't be that issue. So not that it's an issue. I'm just explaining how I perceive it and how I go through my routine with them. But there's a couple of things in there, and it's not till the 25th that are already up over $20. That I'd be lucky to get $20 out of them on the booth, and they're already up there with. Usually, things don't rise up until you know.
The last minute.
Yeah. So I'm like, wow, like that's pretty good. So, um, anyway, there it is. There it is. So we'll see how that goes. And the booth, I'm looking forward to. I got something special going on. I might start my YouTube channel up again, and really go through kind of like a. I don't want to say like a car salesman type thing, but like kind of that kind of channel. Like this is what I'm selling. You know what I mean? Like this is for sale. I want to try something a little bit unique that way and see how that goes.
You gonna say your name of your channel?
Well, everybody knows what the name of my channel. Well, no, I've changed it a couple of times. So,
I don't even remember it now.
well, I mean, Scott Sells Stuff is what
Well,
it's going to be called. So, like
okay.
that's what it was called, and I think I changed it back because I was going to go to antique stores and just kind of talk about antiques. All right, so now I'm going to probably change it back because I've got a different thing. I'm going to put on the big bow tie. I'm going to put on the 1970s, suit with the leather jacket and say, "Come on down, come on down."
Actually, that is against the code of conduct. That is literally here. No loud or disruptive sales pitches.
Well, this is the free world, Carl. I'm in the free world of self promoting.
I guess.
But come on down. This is Charlie's Pontiac dealership. I don't know. Remember those old cars dealers? Like I'm gonna try to go on that thing, but anyway, there it is.
So I'm just going back into the news for a second. So, with all there's a lot of stuff going. We're not going to go into it because it's too complicated, but
we're gonna what? Sorry,
a lot of tariff talk, but we're not going to really go into it but it's too complicated. But if people are really into it, there's a channel I like called Zonos, Zonos. And what they are is this company. It's a couple of guys doing a podcast, and they're in the United States. And what they do is they're in the United States, and they're dealing for imports for American companies and dealing with the tariffs. And what they do was like a lot of internet sales companies. So if you really want to get into the nerdiness in the weeds, you might want to check them out. They were talking about the Universal Postal Union. They actually had someone in for that, and they seem to have the inside scoop with what's going on. And because they knew about the big changes for worldwide origin rules before anyone else did, and they couldn't talk about it. So that means they must be really close in there. But one thing that I really hope they do which is why they had the Universal Postal Union in, was to create a system where duties are put in when you buy something. So, for example, if you're in the United States or in Canada or lots of places, when you go to buy something, let's say you're in the United States and you're buying from a Canadian, right? And you in a state with sales tax, when they go to buy the item, the sales tax is put in there when they're buying the item. It's not put in afterwards, right? We don't deal with it. We might see that they paid sales tax. We have to pay a fee on the money they collected, but we don't have to deal with any of it, right? It's all dealt with for us, which is great. I don't want to deal with sales taxes. And what they're hoping is with the Universal Postal Union of putting in something called a DDP, which is delivered duty paid, which means that if there is a duty on the item that you're shipping, the buyer doesn't get a bill at the end, which is very bureaucratic, and actually would pay it up front like the sales tax. So I won't go into it because, like I said, it's very nerdy. But if people are into this, they might want to check that channel. There's
What's
no
what's the channel, Carl? You haven't said the channel.
Zonos, Zonos. There's no solutions there. It's just more talking about the situation and all the confusion around it. They even though they're American, they mentioned Canada, and it was kind of scary because they said Canada isn't ready for this. They're going to be shocked when it happens. So they have some Canadian content there as well, but I won't go into it because it's very
Like
confusing and changes a
so
lot.
so you've said this before that it's kind of unfair because their de minimis was 800 and ours is 20.
Yeah,
So do they have an amount that they think it's going to go to, or it's going to go to zero?
zero.
Zero. And did they say what it like what so what is the cost going to be? Like, is that still something that's to be negotiated, like a percentage?
So it depends on where the object was made, and so it can depend on where it's made. It can be very different. Like I think if it's British made, UK made, I think it's 10%. If it's Switzerland, it's like 39%.
Okay.
If it so it really depends on where the object is made, which is very bureaucratically annoying for us. But honestly, for me, I know for you it's different, but for me, I sell a lot of toys, and they're almost all China made, with some exceptions.
Yeah.
And once I know that, and there's something called an HS code, I know the HS code. So once you know it, it's easy for me to put in the proper documents. Um, but it is very annoying because we never had to do it before. So
Well,
and we
they can say
still,
Canada's not ready, but it doesn't really matter whether Canada's ready. It's eBay. Like in our situation. In other situations, like a small business that doesn't go through eBay, that's a different story. But for you and I, for our purposes, I'm sure eBay is the one that are they ready for it? Are they, especially if it's going to be paid up front,
yeah,
then the American buyer, there's no surprises. And that's
that
what we were more
yeah,
concerned about was the surprise
the
aspect, right?
surprise exactly.
So if they, and I haven't listened to these guys, so I might have, maybe they answer the questions. I don't know. But I'm just kind of thinking outside the box now. Um, like they pay taxes based on the state. So if they're paying a duty up front, it's no different than what we're already paying. Like we don't pay for this, the buyer pays for it.
Yeah,
So if we're Canadians buying from the US, which still happens, people I watch ad flips many times where they talk about this is going to Canada. Um, is that already something eBay is doing? Are they, when a Canadian buys from the US, are they already seeing those duties?
they do if they're using the global shipping program, which has changed names to something else,
Okay.
and Canadians don't like it
Well,
because
yeah,
they have to pay the duties.
yeah,
And if things, but the program does exist, and a lot of Americans like it because it makes it simple for them. They don't have to worry about any of that stuff. eBay does it for them.
Right. Oh, 100%. Like that's what I'm hoping happens,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Me
I'm
too.
hoping eBay has it just like the taxes, where the buyer sees that up front and I don't have to deal with it.
I would love that.
Right.
But how long that takes, and I don't know. And the other issue is, eBay set that up for Americans selling outside of the United States, right? Which is a huge amount of sellers. So there's
Okay.
big incentive to get that system in place.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of incentive there is to do the other direction.
Well, I would say it would be probably just as important, if not maybe even more so, but for the opposite reason, because there's a heck of a lot of buyers,
Yes,
right?
that's a good point.
So if 75 to 85% of my stuff goes to the US, there's a lot of interest in my stuff from the US. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
the only thing that's going to hurt a little bit is whatever the percentage is, 10%, 15%. Like I don't Switzerland doesn't really matter because I don't think I ever sell anything from Switzerland, but
Yeah. Exactly.
whatever the situation is, um what was I going to say? That's coming out of, like, if I was to eat that instead of put it to the buyer just to give them the incentive and be able to compete against the same item being sold in the US, um that's coming out of my profit, right? So
Yeah.
that's going to sting a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's just I'm getting my stuff fairly cheap, so at the end of the day I could probably still, I'm not going to like it, but I could probably still manage it.
Yeah. And we don't
Now,
know.
now one more question. What if the item is US made?
I don't know. And actually, I had that question too. I don't know what happens in that situation.
A lot of the stuff is made in the US.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the antique stuff that I sell, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully that means there's nothing on that.
I would think so, but I don't know.
Um I understand why they would do that. And I think our leader said something interesting the other day about that kind of stuff. Like, we're going to have to deal with things here in Canada. And one of the things he said, including dumping of steel from China. You know what I mean? So, where am I going with this? I'm saying that the reason that they're probably needing, and maybe this is something that's pretty much known, the reason that they needed to know where the item is coming from is to prevent that type of dumping. You know what I mean? So if Canada had a 10% tariff, but China had a 25% tariff, well, everything is coming into Canada from China and then going into, they're bypassing that, the 25%, and only paying the 10, charging the 10%. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a weird sort of dumping. I can kind of understand that.
Well, and under the new rules, it's about where it was made. So it doesn't matter if it was shipped from Canada.
Well,
And that
that's what I'm
example
saying.
that,
So I understand why they're doing that. No, that's what I'm
oh,
understanding, right?
okay.
Because under the new rules, it's where it was made. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
The only thing we got to remember too, this is an attack on eBay sellers. This is across the board.
This is the world.
This is the world. Like, so, but not even just the world. Let's just stay with Canada. This is everything. This isn't just people selling on eBay. This is
Oh, yeah.
people selling privately, their own little businesses, right? So
Yeah.
they're setting this up for a whole different reason outside of eBay. You know what I mean? We're just getting hammered as part of collateral damage, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I
Right.
think part of the problem is no one knows exactly what's going to happen. But the other thing, too, is I'm a little worried about is cart abandonment, where say someone in the United States goes to buy my, I don't know, my Schleich. They see the price. They see the price is good. Then they go to the cash, and then they see that extra duty added, and they go, "Oh, I don't even want to deal with this," and abandon carts. But that I have no control over that. So, and like, you know, the problem with this is a lot of speculation and a lot of like unknowns, right? Like you said, what happens if it's American made? It's like I don't know. Sometimes they don't even know. I swear. So, and the timelines are so quick that we've already seen that USPS can't even handle the stuff now, let alone the world stuff coming in. So
Well, this is where I think what you had said earlier with the prepaid duty before it comes in is going to be important. Like
I
that
hope
might be
they
part
do.
of the strategy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So there's the
And
company like
just because they give Canada the de minimis, or sorry, just because they did the de minimis change at the end of the month doesn't mean it's going to go into effect by then, right? They might have to say, okay, we're going to push this another couple months and let people get ready for it. Like I don't know. I'm
no,
not
I
saying
agree
that
with
is
you.
going to happen, but I'm
I
just
agree
saying,
with you. Yeah,
right? Like if it, I mean, you've talked about this before where they tried to do a de minimis thing with China and all of a sudden they got backlogged. Like if that
yeah,
kind of stuff keeps happening, they're going to push it until they can work it out, right? I mean, they're going to have to. They have no real choice.
yeah.
But eventually, I can see what you're saying, these people are saying is going to happen, right? Like,
It I can totally see it happening
yes.
because often it's already offered by reshipping companies here in Canada who actually sometimes insist on it. So the system already exists. The issue is doing it worldwide and doing it flawlessly, right? Which is like I wouldn't want to be the programmer dealing with this stuff.
Well, okay, let's put it
It's a
this way.
nightmare.
They've already done it. They've already done it when they did state taxes. Every state
Yeah.
taxed differently,
Yep.
and they put that in pretty seamlessly, to be honest.
Yep.
Right?
Um.
Now they didn't do it all at once. I think they did state by
No.
state, but pretty
Yeah.
much all the states ended up joining, like requiring this,
They got through it. Yeah.
and we don't even notice it now, right?
That's
But
what I hope
everybody said, "Oh,
happens.
this is going to be a game changer. This is going to people aren't going to buy." Well, it hasn't
I don't
really
think so.
it really
Like,
hasn't affected too much. Well, those are the things I've heard. I was hearing,
yeah,
but
no, people will still buy. It's just a question of like, think of Canadians and how often we've been stung by a huge duty bill and how much you hear those
well, this is
stories.
this is what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to jump the gun, you know, without knowing what that cost is going to be. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Because
Yeah.
eventually, like in all honesty, like the cost is going to be onto the American buyer.
In the end,
At the
yes.
end of the day, we decide to take it on. But I mean, if it's a 25% tariff, you know what, dude? I'm not taking that on. I like if you want it, you want it. If not, don't buy it. But if it's 10% and I need to kind of swallow that 10% somehow, I could probably manage that to just to get my sales. You know what I mean? But 25%, I'm not doing that. I'm already paying 25, like with promoted listings, you're paying 25% to eBay. And if there's an extra tax on top of that, and eBay takes their percentage with that tax included,
Oh,
like they
they
do
will. They will.
for sure they will. That's craziness, right? Like that's so there's no way I'm going to take all that on. You know what I mean? So it all depends. Like I'm not gonna change everything up or get depressed and dramatic
No.
without knowing the details that haven't been told to us yet. You know what I mean? So, you know, if like I have different ways of selling things, including the booth, which is a big one. So what I'm saying is if I get something that's from Switzerland, I'll just throw it in the booth if it's that good. If it's not that good, I'm not going to buy it anyway. But because of it's too high of a tariff, right? So it might just change what I'm selling on eBay, but as of right now, it's not going to change me selling on eBay. You know what I mean?
No, it's too early. It's still got to wash through. It's still very complicated. Can you imagine it? Like, you mentioned state taxes. Well, that's fairly easily to implement, right? Because it's 5% no matter what where that item is coming from, right?
Well, from what I
Imagine
understand,
tariffs
some
now
some of the
where
states have higher taxes than others, and they had to adjust for each state, right?
true,
Right. Okay.
but that's still just one number.
It's 50.
But
It's 50.
imagine now you have 190 countries all with different tariff rates that can change.
Well, can change. I don't know.
Yeah,
Is
it could change, right?
well, okay. So the taxes could change too. Like, I
They
think,
could,
right. So, but what
but
I'm saying is, like, we're jumping the gun. We're
yeah, yeah, I agree.
right.
Yeah,
So, I mean, we could say a lot of things can change, but I don't want to go to what could happen,
yeah,
right? Like, it's good to keep it in the back of your mind what could happen, but let's wait and see what does happen.
yep, yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
yeah, yeah. I
Because
understand. Yeah,
you know what? Maybe it's not going to be a big deal at all. And I'm
oh,
not saying
that'd be
that.
so nice. Yeah,
I'm not saying that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be overly optimistic either. But
if there's one thing we've learned is that the news changes on a regular basis. So it's
well,
really
just
hard to even keep up with what the
okay.
current idea
Let's
is.
take politics out of it. Let's just stick with eBay.
Right.
Just eBay changes things all the time. Promoted listings is one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, things change all the time as a reseller. I mean, the thing about politics is it gets everybody heated up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, just eBay alone changes everything, right? Like,
Yeah.
look at the shipping we used to pay. Now it's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
They've worked it out with Canada Post. So that's
Yeah.
a change for the good. Sometimes promoted listings, people will say, is a change for the bad. And I've heard arguments about promoted listings, and it's Shedflip said it on their channel, which really is interesting, is that by doing promoted listings, you're not promoting necessarily the best item or the best seller. You're promoting someone who's willing to make less on that item, right?
Yeah.
So there's always cash grabs coming at us all the time, right? Look at, if you want to talk about a cash grab that's not directly at eBay, but we were heavily affected, Canada Post strike. Okay, you could argue that's temporary, but we've been dealing with it since November of last year. It's
Hmm.
just, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, there's always something.
There's
Yeah.
always stuff that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So ride this out. Let's see what's really going to happen. Let it's like shaking a blanket, and then once that blanket is laid out nice and crisp on the bed, we know what we're dealing with. But I'm not going to get excited. I'm not going to get
Oh, I'm not excited yet.
drawn into what ifs and stuff like that. And I don't care if people play that. Like, I'm interested in hearing it
Yeah.
in some cases, as long as it's not all like doom and gloom. The sky is
No.
falling.
No, I don't
Let
think it's doom and gloom. Like,
right, like
I,
who knows? Like, we could get a really good deal. Like, who knows what happens? I understand it's a little more confusing when you think about what you're buying, but you know what we'll have to just wait and see. Like, I don't want to say here, oh, I'm really, oh, Scott, you're not seeing the bigger picture. I'm totally seeing the bigger picture. Don't get me wrong. This could be really bad, or this could be a bit of a profit, a lesser profit in lesser
if
sales, or if you're going to swallow that, if that's even an option, you can eat that duty, even if you're selling your stuff for less to attract that American buyer. Like, what I'm saying is, we don't know where this is going to fall. So, I'm gonna sneeze here, but there was I remember when this was all talked about before, people were closing their stores and nothing happened. You know what I mean? And I'm
Hmm.
not saying that's nothing's gonna happen. What I'm saying is we'll pivot when the time comes. You know what I'm saying? Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah.
It's
This
a
is
great topic to talk about. I'm not saying don't talk about it, Carl. I'm just telling my point of view on how I'm
Oh yeah.
dealing,
I get
right?
it. Like, I've always said, it's okay to be informed. It's just that all the cards haven't been laid on the table right now, right? But you can take some steps in advance. Like, if one thing I've heard some people doing is opening up where they ship to, so their market is increased, right? Like, maybe they'll start shipping to Europe where they really didn't care before, right? That
Well, and that's good, but that's a whole new shipping issue then. So what's the difference between someone paying, $40? I don't even know. I mean, you ship to Australia, that's even crazier. But is someone you're still dealing with a shipping problem, a price problem. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just saying that sometimes when things like this come along, there can be little blessings that you didn't think
Oh,
of at the time.
a one hundred
And one of them
percent.
could be expanding our market, especially if I won't go into the details because it's very nerdy. But
No, no, go
if,
into the details because I think I know
well,
what you're going to say here, and
okay,
I
so
agree.
with the
I agree.
Universal Postal Union,
Yeah,
which is this thing that deals with all the world's postal things, including how much we get charged for postage
yeah.
in other countries, if they've talked about this solution where the DPP, which is the delivered duty paid, they calculate it and they calculate it on their end for all the countries, and it's an API call. And if which means that our like eBay system would call UPU system and get a number back, and all the world can get that number back without developing all the thousands of different little systems. If that happens, it would take away a lot of the complications that currently exist for shipping throughout the world. And even better, get rid of the shock bills that people get and get really upset about.
Okay.
And that would never have come into effect if it wasn't pushed by what's going on, right?
Well, let me just put a little damper into that. Um, and I've only know this from watching Commonwealth Picker, and this would have been at least 6 months ago, might have been a year ago, but I think it was Europe or England, but like let's say the Union, but there was something where you have to fill out something about the hazardous or about you had to fill out an extra step about that product. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Keep going because not yet.
It's only to Europe though, and they
Right.
require a form to be filled out. And there was either extra cost. If you want me, maybe what I should do is look into that for the next show. But there was something that was prohibiting people from selling into Europe because there was the European government, and maybe it was just like English, like England, but maybe their government. But there was a government over there in Europe somewhere, like it was the European Union or it was England. Like it was one, but they required another step in describing, like, I think it was like choking hazards for kids stuff and all this other stuff that people just didn't want to have to deal with because there was a lot of stuff, and if you didn't fill it out right, you could get in trouble for that.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
But
The
I
only thing
will I will look more into that. But there's other things that tariffs. I guess my point is there could be other things in other countries that make it tougher to sell there as well. Like I know Australia is crazy when it comes to shipping stuff to Australia. I don't even ship stuff to Australia. I had a guy from Italy wanting one of my toy soldiers, and I don't ship to Italy, but somehow he was able to buy it, but he couldn't pay for it. And he messaged me saying, could you ship this to Italy? And I'm like, no. So I waited for the 4 days and I canceled. Buyer hasn't paid yet. And then he got upset with me. And I'm like, you know what? He's kind of right. I blocked him, but I'm like, I probably should have put issue with the shipping address. But I never thought that it was going to affect his account, but he seemed to be upset with it and messaged me. But I'm just saying, and I know we're kind of rambling on here, but I'm just saying, but there could be issues with selling into other countries that we don't know about right yet too, right? So, and the Europe or England one is one of them, and I'll find out more information. I'll talk about it more next week because it's hard for me to talk about it when I don't know the exact details. But it was another step that their government was requiring for items coming into the country that made it very complicated.
Right. Well, I was just talking about
And that was
duties
on
or whatever.
Commonwealth Picker like 6 months to a year ago,
The only thing
right?
I think of is the German thing, but I'm not going to go into that because that's like a separate thing from everything else. But
Well, I don't think they are separate, Carl. Like I know you're talking about cost and everything like that, but if there's other things in play that make it difficult to sell there, it's just something else that makes it difficult to sell there.
yeah,
Whether it's a cost, whether it's shipping, whether it's duties and taxes, or it's forms that need to be filled out properly,
yeah,
right? Because it's going to get turned away at the border. Imagine sending something over there and their customs find it and it costs $200, maybe $50 to ship it over there. And all of a sudden they're saying, no, we're rejecting this. Now
yeah, that
you're
would suck.
right. Like
Which is why I don't ship over there.
now that's become a cost to you. You know, exactly. That's why we don't ship over there. So that's what I'm saying. So it could be a blessing, but at the same time, it just might be more hazardous
True.
bullshit.
I'm just saying it'd be one less thing to worry about the duties if the UPU took care of at least that one little aspect of shipping for us. So we'll see. I'm like I said, I would not want to be the coders dealing with this stuff, but let's move on a little bit because
Well, they get paid in now we have AI, Carl. So these
yeah,
codes can be
yeah,
like
yeah.
um so anyways, any sales you want to talk about?
We already talked about the one I wanted. I just went to the Slike. That's it.
Oh,
Still look
okay.
out for that stuff.
Um I sold something that actually I'm going to talk about something that I sold at the booth, but you could sell it online, and it was a folk art painting, $75. And it was just a folk art painting.
Okay.
And now it was local to here, but I think if I would have put it on eBay for $100, I think it would have still kind of sold like locally, like maybe London or something, like an hour and a half away, but people maybe have lived here and then went to school or whatever, and they moved out to the city or something. But it was a folk art painting and it sold very quickly. And you would say, oh, that wasn't well done. Well, that's kind of what folk art is. It's kind of like a very amateur kind of looking thing.
Yeah.
But on the back of it, and it was not signed, I couldn't find a signature anywhere. But on the back of it, it said 1978, Port Dover, and $175 was what the original artist was asking for this thing. And I thought that was a little bit much, so I put $75. But anyway, it sold
What was
less.
it a picture of?
So Port Dover is it's like shipping, right? Like a lot of boats, fishing. They do a
Okay.
lot of perch and
Yeah. Okay.
well, just fishing. Really, it's off Lake Erie. Um, Small little town, well known, but for whatever reason, items from Port Dover are very collectible.
So it was a picture of the port. I was asking what was the painting of.
So, well, this is what I'm getting at.
Oh, okay.
So, back in 1978, there's a marina, um, and it's kind of like a old fish house that isn't there any longer. The fish
Yeah.
house has been torn down and converted into condos, but it would have had all the bushes on one side, which is now all chopped down, and it's I think it's a parking lot, to be honest with you. But um, you would have saw the difference. so you can still see the the marina and the walkway that leads out to the lighthouse. You don't see the lighthouse, but you can still see that walkway and where boats could park at a side. Now they had one big tugger kind of parked to the side. It was the only boat in there, but you see the waterway that leads back into the marina and the big fish house and everything. It was clearly Dover. I knew when I bought it, it was Dover. And then when I looked on the back and saw Port Dover written on
Right.
it, I'm like, okay, this is cool. But, and that fish house was a very popular, like the family was well known for owning that fish house and stuff, really. So,
Cool.
um, so it's a throwback to the '70s, anyways, and it's all changed up now, and it was a folk art painting. I thought there was a way too much green in there because all the trees were green and the reflection of the water, so the water was kind of a green. Um, but outside of that, I thought it was pretty decently done. So
Okay. Was it oil? Was it
yeah, it would have been oil on board,
on board? Yeah,
yeah.
that was the other question I have.
Not wooden board. It was like a canvas strapped board. You know what I mean? So maybe I guess you would say canvas, but it wasn't a loose canvas. There was a board and it was tightly wrapped on this board. It would have been. I think you would call it on board. Um,
Yeah, that's a good question.
but it wasn't directly painted on the wood. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was painted on a canvas that was professionally done because on the back it had like that stamp where you would fill out the form and right. So you would have had to have purchased this out of an art store. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And the frame wasn't even great. It was an older frame. It had a couple nicks in it. It was just a plain wood frame, right? So the frame wasn't like anything outstanding. Um, and I think I put $65 on it, and then I looked on the back and I saw 175, and I thought, I'm gonna bump it up to $75. But I probably could have put $85 on it. It probably would have sold, right?
art is definitely one of those harder ones.
Yeah,
Like I
and if it had the artist name, that might even pushed it up to $100. I don't think I would have got more than $100 because I've seen well known artists and their stuff is like maybe 250. So I don't think it's worth more than that, but it might have pushed with a signing of it 85 to $100 maybe. But I could have sold that online too. So you could kind of sell them both locations. But
yeah, when it comes to buying art, it's definitely a work in progress for me. Like I've been taught some basic rules. It's like the composition, what it is a picture of is really important. Try to stay away from too many landscapes. Uh, Oil is better. Oil on canvas is better than oil on board. Um, Look at the back, and stuff like that.
yeah, I think
It's just
the
general
two
rules.
most important things is content and the artist. And a lot of times, and I'm talking 99% of the times, you can't find the artist. I can anyway.
Yeah,
Um, so now it kind of content condition is huge, but I also find that kind of abstract, folky kind of stuff does well under the booth.
yeah.
Um,
What's your style too? Like of your booth, that helps, I think.
but there's
And you have
also
an eye for
things.
it, you
There's
know.
also like pastels and watercolors that do well too, right?
Oh yeah, I'm
So
not dismissing it. It's
yeah,
just general
um,
rules.
like I know there's I think it's pastel Chandler. If you find that guy, he's Canadian artist. Like his stuff goes for $500, like six
Yeah,
hundred dollars, right?
yeah.
There's another guy, uh, Henry H. I think it's Pill, Henry Pill. I sold one of his paintings for $100 once. And they usually go for 250. He's from Hamilton, Ontario. I think it was Pill, Pile, Pile Pill, Pill maybe. Um, but he'll sign it with an H and then he'll put Pill. Um, and I didn't even know what I had. Somebody else, someone that I value their years of collecting and knowledge. He pointed it out to me. He goes, that artist is a good artist." So,
Sometimes
um,
it can be so hard to find those names. Like with that. wolf head I had sculpture. It took me, a guy who's really into this stuff, and I to figure out who the hell it was. But
Yeah, well, and these two artists do like forest scenery,
yeah,
Chandler and Pill. I hope I'm saying that right, Henry Pill. Um, though they're forest scenery, like that's kind of what they do. You know,
yeah,
I think
yeah.
Chandler does a lot of like meadows and ponds and different things like that, but it's still, you know, you're not gonna find like an old boat or anything like that. You know
No,
what I mean? Like it's
and
scenery
and
painting
sometimes
still.
you can spend all that time figuring out who they are, and it's still worthless.
A lot of
But
times for sure.
yeah,
I don't spend a lot of time on them.
no, because like honestly, at Value Village or the resource, you see a lot of handmade art. Um,
But there was a Value Village who not a it was a thrift store. I shouldn't say Value Village because I don't know. It was a thrift store and they got a Maud Lewis,
yeah, yep, it
right?
happens.
And that's I think it was $25,000 to $40,000 and that was probably like 10 years ago, right? But you can
Yeah.
go on YouTube and search it.
Hey, once in a while you get like I found sterling the other week for the first time in like 6 months at a thrift store. So
You
it
never
happens
know.
on
You never know.
a rare occasion. It's
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
You know, honestly, if they saw Maud Lewis come through there, they'd probably throw it in the garbage because they
Oh my
think it's
god.
some kid's drawing. That's the shame of it all, right?
They get so
So
much stuff. They get so much stuff. Like I took like Amy never goes with me, my wife,
yeah,
but she was with me when I went to donate stuff, and just she was shocked how many cars were just standing around, just donation after a
yeah,
free inventory. And I
yeah,
said, yeah, it's like that. Often you have to wait to give them stuff for free.
yeah.
That's how much stuff is going through that.
It's crazy, crazy times. But um, so anything else, Carl? Or
Well, I thought we could talk about there's. I know this has already gone on, but it's not an editing episode. So if it's
yeah,
an hour and a half or 2 hours, does it really matter too much?
nope,
As long as we don't stop. So thanks everyone for their comments. There's one here from Adam Wakefield that I thought was kind of interesting. I have a question for you guys. If you want to tackle it, what do you think the big resellers do differently than the average resellers that allow them to make so much more income? So I guess like when it comes to like big resellers, I guess that depends on your definition of big resellers. Like,
totally for sure.
you know, my definition of big resellers might be someone who's more than just them, right? More than just one person where they might actually have employees. Not to dismiss people who are solos, right? Um, like I mean the people who where this is a big business. So like you know, Craigslist Hunter, like he has a business and he has employees, right? Or like who else would be a good example? Well, I can't even think. Oh, million dollar million dollar peddlers. One of the guy has a business with employees who are selling on Amazon and on eBay and stuff like that.
Yeah, Tech and Sports is another big one. He does a lot of clothing. He was doing like $5 million a year at one
Yeah,
point.
like
But
completely different. Or Storage Warrior, she has employees, right? Where she's buying stuff and her employees are packing and listing and that sort of different the next step, the huge step, right?
yeah,
Like
and if you watch Back from Burnout, she's recently been in like well, I guess a couple years now, but she got a divorce and she's with another guy, and he also sells on eBay. They're in Australia, but he kind of niched down to books and CDs, DVDs, that kind of thing, and he has two or three, maybe four employees. Um, but I'll give my 2 cents in. But those are a couple that come to mind for me, including Craigslist Hunter as well. But you finish out what you're saying, Carl.
yeah, I was just trying to put a baseline for a big reseller because the problem is we don't really know. Like I know there's solo people out there making hundreds of thousands net every year, but it's hard to tell, right? Like uh but I think that's what Adam Wakefield is really talking about. Like maybe the next the big steps. Like when you get to like gross of like 500,000 a year,
Yeah.
I guess like to me it's like if you're talking about big resellers and that thing, it's something that would be very difficult to do just by yourself, right? Just because of time, you wouldn't have enough time to deal with everything. Hey, if you're selling high end $30,000 watches, okay, maybe a little different, right? But I'm talking about normal stuff. Is that how you feel kind of to what he might, or do you have a
Well,
different
I have a
idea?
different way of talking about it, like
Yeah.
dealing with it. But are you done? I don't want to interrupt. That's all.
Well, no, I was just trying to define what we're talking about.
Well, so I look at it different ways. Just because the end result is a certain amount, it doesn't mean that they're making necessarily a lot more. Like if you look at tech and sports, he might be an anomaly that one of and I say an anomaly loosely because there's a lot of people out there doing that. But he has a way of sourcing tons of clothing, working through it, and I think he gets his clothing relatively cheap. But there's a lot of people out there, like Craigslist Hunter is the first guy to tell you he pays 50% basically of what he has, what he sells for the most part. Like that's the number he threw out the other day. I think what makes him a bigger reseller is he's got people working for him,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't mean he's making more than Lonnie and Candace, who might pay 10% of what they're selling.
Yeah, we
You
don't
know what I
really
mean?
know. Yeah.
So, those are differences too. So, what you're selling, how much you're paying, like there's could be a big difference of what you're actually making. Um, Another guy is he's got tons of warehouse things, and he's the one from Australia. There, back from burnout. You see her boyfriend on there quite a bit, almost every video. But he also has a large warehouse, and I think he owns the facility. I think he owns a facility. So he's not really paying. He might, for tax purposes, pay himself, like pay another business that owns the facility. So eBay, they rent that facility, the warehouse, and pays the other company he owns, or something like that might happen. But for the most part, he's got a large location that he owns. You know what I mean? So that makes a big difference too. If you own the property of the facility that you're working out of. If you watch two Aussies, well, they're renting a large facility, but they got to go through a lot of product to pay for all that merchandise. And they do have an employee. Rally Roots is another big one. But they went out and purchased their property in Florida, right? And now they have a worker or two, but they're also buying huge volumes. So what I don't know. Like I don't know. Just because they're bigger doesn't mean necessarily like they're probably making more, but are they doing more work? I don't know. I like Craigslist Hunter too. I'm kind of contradicting because I'm kind of like thinking out loud,
Right.
but he can go away on vacation. His store still runs,
That's what I was about to say. If
right?
you so just because we're just making up a definition, right? Just for the sake of debate or not debate, but talking about the subject matter, right? And for me, it's like if you can and take a vacation, your business doesn't shut down. Like that to me is a big reseller, right?
Well, but what is the cost of doing that? You know what I mean? That doesn't mean he's making more, right? Like Lonnie and Candace used to go camping and stuff like that. They don't have their store shuts down, but they're not paying someone 300 like for a full year wages because they want to take 2 weeks vacation every now and then. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean? So I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying it can be misleading to see a big reseller and know what they're making. There was a guy, Spencer or something, he sells just shoes. That's all him and his wife do. And they do 400,000 a year, and that's in the US. So that's 400,000 US dollars. Now he has a great source for his shoes, and that's all they sell is higher end shoes. But I think he said he's paying $20 a pair of shoes.
Right.
And they have to make sure that they don't need much cleaning because cleaning is time. And they list 25 pairs of shoes a day, 5 days a week, right? So, but some of their shoes are used, like they're all used for the most part, but he shows his inventory system and everything. And I would consider that a pretty successful reseller, pretty good, right? And it's just him and his wife. So,
Yeah.
um,
So like just to keep going, I guess. And this is just my opinion. So one thing I noticed with a lot of the really big ones, like the ones, like I said, it's more than just a sole proprietorship, just one person working, is I noticed a lot of them niche down. So like Rally Roots are doing clothing, right? Or another person might do mostly comics, or another person might do mostly shoes, that sort of thing. Like I don't want to niche down, and I'm not saying if you don't niche down, you're not going to be a big reseller. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that when you get bigger and you have employees, it's a lot easier if you're selling the same category thing over and over again because you can teach a process to your employee and let them go at it. The issue is if the type of items change a lot, it's much more difficult to train someone to do
and
work.
and you have to be able to source consistently that product,
Exactly. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you ever go watch Back from Burnout and you see this guy's facility, he's got rows upon rows of CDs and DVDs and that kind of stuff. Like he has a lift that lifts them up to levels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a whole system. So, and he's got cleaner like machines that clean discs. So, but he
Yeah.
has to go to these places and he has to buy huge,
Yeah.
huge bulk inventory, right? So, like, he's not going to buy a tote of CDs. He's going to buy 100 totes of CDs or
Yeah.
more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he sells books too. Um,
Like,
so
for
they're easy to list, but then again, what's the sell through rate on those things? Like you need a lot of volume because maybe the sell through rate is one out of every 10 listings you sell.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things in play there. And then you got to find a place to store all that stuff. So I don't think that system works out of your basement.
No. Yeah. And I'm just saying, like, what have I noticed as a theme is like a lot of them are niche down. Like, even for us, when we talk about buys we really liked in the past, often it has been a big volume of one type of item because usually there's a ramp up whenever there's something new, right?
Yeah.
So,
But then
for
if you,
example, the toy soldiers, right?
yeah,
Like once you figure out how to look at one, study one, the value of one, it makes it the next one requires less work because you've already kind of learned that company, that style, even that, what's going on. It's just faster, right? As opposed to if you sold a toy soldier and then you went to sell, I don't know, a typewriter, and then you went to sell a camera, and like because each of those requires a shift in the way you're thinking and researching, and it slows you down.
well, the toy soldiers, I still got to look up every one.
I'm not saying there's no work. I'm just
So,
saying,
so there's two reasons I got to look up toy soldiers. First of all, to make sure the right soldier is in that package. Just
yeah,
because a label says this, so far, maybe one wasn't, maybe two, but I could kind of tell that from beginning. Like sometimes there'll be a John Jenkins box, but it'll have Britons inside it. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. But now
mm-hmm,
I have to find out, well, what is the label of this particular Briton? What is the code for that? Because that's what people are going to put in. Britons 16750. You know what I mean?
yeah, and that's exactly what I'm getting at.
So, but I have to look up each one. First of all, I got to know the price of it. And
Mm-hmm.
second of all, I got to make sure it matches what is real,
Yeah,
right?
yep,
So that there's still a search involved there.
Yeah, I'm not saying there's no work. I'm just saying it's the same sort of work over and over again, right? Like if you sell that toy soldier and you've done everything you want, right? To research the price, and then you have another one, you have to go through the same process again, right? It's not going to be radically different.
Yeah,
Where
well,
if you
okay,
switch
but
type
I'm
of
just trying to
object,
play devil's advocate a little bit because let's say a crucifix, like I Google Lens it, I can kind of know a name of it, and I can sell similar very quickly. And I don't think that takes that would that. I mean, that's going to be a gift, so I'm not listing it, but I'm just looking at it right now. But that would not take any longer than a toy soldier. It's still, you know, front, side, back, side, bottom, kind of up close. It's still going to be, I don't know, 10, 6 to 10 photos, maybe a ruler beside it. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
right,
I sold two, I or listed two wooden masks that were very easy. You know, top, I don't know what I put, 12, 15 pictures, but it
right.
was very easy to list.
Yeah, I know.
Sell similar is a very interesting thing. I'm just saying, like, I guess I'm kind of saying, like, I don't have, like, okay, put it this way. Look at, you watch him too, out of his garage in California,
Uh, Golden State Picker.
Golden State Picker. Um, he's claiming to do 300,000. He does out of his garage in California,
Yeah,
doing 300,000 by himself as a retired person. Like he's retired and he's still doing those numbers. That's American. So that's, you're looking at about maybe 450,000 Canadian. Um, you know what I mean? So
oh, I'm not. I'm just saying what I've noticed as a general rule.
yeah,
There's always going to be exceptions, right?
because
And this is just my opinion. Is I find they niche down
because I'm going to say this. My
because he's
opinion is
yeah,
consistency. They consistent, and this will be Lonnie and Candace, right? They're definitely not niche down at all,
right.
and they're probably doing very similar numbers. Now they're a team, so they're probably getting more than Golden State Picker is, more stuff listed, but they're consistent. They set themselves goals each week, each month, kind of each day, month, and week and month. So, but their consistency is huge.
Yeah, I think you know it's my opinion, but I've noticed in everything where I've made good money is getting other people to work for me, as evil as that
Well,
is.
yeah.
Because
Um,
if I can pay someone $5 and they make me $8 an hour, and I can just have more of those guys, I just made up a number. That's not real life. That's I prefer that than me making $10 and netting seven of it when I can just hire other people to do work for me. And I think for a lot of and what that's why I was trying to define what big reseller really is, right? I think if you really want something big, because you only have X amount of time in your day, right? Like you're going to run out of that at
but
some
you're
point.
also training people, which is your time, and you're
Yeah,
putting out probably more fires because it's not being done exactly how it should be all the time because you're going to put more effort into correct getting the correct thing than other people. So putting out
yeah,
fires means complaints and returns and all that other stuff.
yeah.
Like there's other variables. It's not just I'm going to hire somebody. They'll take a few pictures and list this. Like
Oh
there's
no, yeah, I'm not saying that at all.
and then
Like,
they quit and then
yeah,
they go and do their own
yeah,
business and
yeah,
all sorts of crap, right? So
yeah.
I'm not putting it down. I'm just kind of giving a perspective on my end of things too. I personally have tried it, and I find myself, through hiring my son and Stephanie to a degree, but you know, I find I'm not that person that can let go, and I'm my biggest enemy that way. I agree with you, Carl. I do. Like it sounds like I'm not. I agree. If you can have a setup where you can hire somebody, they can do the work, and you can go out and play, like and play. I mean, still working, but sourcing to me is play. Um, if you can go out and do that kind of stuff, that's a big advantage. But I have a hard time letting go of, you know, exactly how the photo should be taken, exactly how it should be edited, exactly how things should be written. So, am I my worst enemy? Maybe, but also, this is my baby, and I want to make sure it's done properly. So, there's something to say good about that as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm not.
As long as I can be consistent on my
Yeah,
listing with values and numbers of my items.
yeah,
And I would say someone who makes 300,000, like Golden State Picker for is my example, I would consider that kind of a bigger reseller. He's not doing 5 million like Tech and Sports, but Tech and Sports is doing just clothing, and he's doing like one item. He will photo one shirt in 1 minute, and then they go after all those photos. They go and list it, and their listings, they have a very quick system of listing, and it's what you're saying. It's niched down, but every shirt is different. One might have Tupac on it, another one might be a Woolwich jacket. Like,
yeah.
it's clothing,
But he has a process to do that.
right? There is a process. I have a process too.
That can be taught to someone else.
I could teach my process to someone. I taught myself my process.
True. I'm just saying it's more complicated the more varied the items are,
I don't know. Like, to me, a
in my
Woolwich
opinion.
jacket and a Tupac T-shirt, or a all-around single stitched Dell Jarrett NASCAR shirt. Those are three drastically different things, drastically different prices,
Yep, I
but
agree.
they're still clothing,
And I
right?
would say clothing, like,
You got to go for brand name. You got to go for sizes. You got to
right.
go for condition. You got to look for burn marks, stains,
Oh, I agree with all that.
fading, all that stuff, right?
Right. I'm just saying
So,
they're radically different than, because in that one you could separate all those clothing into different sub niches, right? Put all the t-shirts here and get someone to go through all the t-shirts, all the jackets here. You could even go from brands and stuff like that. You could break that down depending on the amount of volume
but
you're
but
having.
then all of
But
a
if you give
sudden,
them a typewriter and then give them a phone and then give them a camera and then give them a toy, one by one, it's going to be a
I
lot slower.
I see. I don't know. I think the photos.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, because
Right.
you have to look at the tag. You have to look at the sizes. Sometimes they don't have sizes. Sometimes they don't have tags. You have to go by the measurements. You got to go by the measurements anyways, and then you got to look for stains and pinholes and burn
Yeah.
marks and
I'm just
and
saying that
fading and
that
condition.
concept with the clothing is repetitive with a lot of different clothing, even though, as opposed to, you don't, like, if you give them a phone or you give them a camera, well, you don't have to look for burn marks and stuff like
Well,
that,
okay,
right?
I listed a Tommy Garfield phone for $150 the other day. I found it, sell similar, added my own photos, kind of walked through the what was already there, put in my own basic description, and listed it. I didn't. I mean, I looked for condition while I photographed it. You know what I mean? I mean, the only difference that would be in listing two different types of shirts would be, like I didn't have to clean it, but if you had to clean an item. But then again, if it's a shirt, maybe you have to wash them. Like, I don't know where they're getting them from, right? I don't know. But you know who would be interesting to have on is someone like Jamie to have on, because he does clothing, right? Are you dealing with more returns if you're doing clothing? Some people say yes. I don't know. I haven't experienced that. What do you think?
Yeah. Like, what do I think about what, like, doing clothing requires
No,
is a
like,
different thing,
would you
or?
say clothing people deal with a lot more returns than normal? Because that's another aspect of having to deal with shit, right?
Yeah, I would think so. I don't know because I don't do clothing, but
Like, I have
shoes to me would be a big return because your feet might not fit. as opposed to a shirt where it's like it might not slightly fit, but you'll keep it. I don't know. Because I never deal with it, right? I'm just guessing
Well,
off the top of my head.
see, and I find shoes, if I go for size 11, I'm pretty much all shoes are size 11 as long as it's like American, like US
Yeah.
or Canadian.
Yeah, I was just something on top of my head, right? Like,
But if I have a shirt that was made in China or a shirt that's made in the US, sometimes shirts fit differently. If I get
yeah,
ones from China, they're always tight,
yeah,
always tight. But if I get like other country, like a Canadian or US made, like um it fits nice. Like I just listed a Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was from the 90s. The tags ripped out, but I'm going to assume that that's probably made in the US or maybe Korea, or like it's not made in China. Um but it's a vintage shirt. I tried it on because the tag was gone. I just wanted to kind of make sure that it was an extra large and it fit nicely. Well, I got the other shirt from the same place, which was a different shirt, and it fit tight.
yeah,
But I'm thinking it's the same guy. He got the same shirt, but maybe they feel different. The material feels different. So it can be the same size, but it can be technically listed as the same size on the tag, but in reality, it's going to fit completely different.
yeah. Because it's not standardized what a small is or medium or large, right?
Right. So I don't know. Anyway, anything else for Adam? But
Uh,
I think we probably confuse the matter more because I don't think it's a real streamlined answer. Like it all depends on perception of how what a big reseller is. But in my mind, it's consistency. It's being able to source good stuff and consistency. And as long as you're
that's
doing
true.
that
No
kind of
matter what
stuff,
your definition is of a big reseller, for sure, you need good stuff and you need to be able to find it.
consistent, like list it consistently. You can find it like I do, but if you're not listing it, it's sitting in the back closet.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I do not consider. I consider myself a very, very part-time one.
Yeah, I don't consider myself a big. All I'm saying is that inventory wise, I have lots, but reality wise, I have never ever been overly consistent. So,
If I cared about money, I would just do cameras.
but you know what? I have had times where I go through consistent listing periods and my sales are way up compared to times when I'm only listing one or two or none, or I might list 5 items for the week. Like, I mean, that's pretty understandable, but I'm saying I think that's the main thing. If you're as big as you want to be and it's consistent, if you want to be super big and you want to list 100 items a day, good solid items, that's you're going to have different results than a guy that deals with 5 items a week.
Yeah, there's no
And
way
I
I
think
could
that's the
even
difference. It's just
100 items a day. Can you imagine? I couldn't even imagine that.
well, I picked 100 because Philly Flipper, and I'm not saying his stuff was all great, and I'm sure he wouldn't have said that either, but he listed 100 items one day.
Oh God.
He had 100 item a day challenge, and he said he did it. I believe him. I believe he listed 100 items. I'm not saying they're good. Like there might have been $5 plush in there. I don't know, but he still listed 100 items on that
Oh,
day.
yeah, I'd be dead. That would burn me out.
But yeah, that wouldn't even be fun. I think I'd rather go to Toyota and work there again.
Yeah, I know.
100 items a day. But well, I mean, if you had employees, you can do 100 items a day,
Yeah,
right? So
exactly.
there you go. Um, so I think consistency and good items is basic. Like it's that simple. It's
Yeah,
really that simple.
and I've said what I think for that. So,
Yeah.
but thank you, Adam. If you have a follow up on that, that's fine too.
This is
Um,
why we had to get away from questions and comments, is because it
well,
takes an
it
hour
just
to go through one.
I know we always interpret things from different angles. It's kind of funny. But thank you, Adam. I know you said Tina replied. I can't actually see the
I
reply.
was just gonna say that she's gonna give her 2 cents. Work ethic. I think people assume reselling is easy, but it's a grind, and you have to be able to pivot quickly if things change.
Yeah.
100% for
Yeah.
sure. Education is important too.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part.
Me too.
Education is important. Let me just finish here. Learning about so many things, doing research. 100% education is true. I think the most important part of the education is on the sourcing side,
Hmm.
and I think the consistency obviously is on the listing side.
Yes.
So,
Like if I took a critical path issue from for me, it'd be listing. I have enough stuff, I have enough capital, I have enough space. I don't I don't list enough. If I can list more, I that's what's holding me back. That's if I
yep.
looking at it in terms of a money thing, that's the only thing holding me. I love to have a sourcing problem. That'd be amazing. But I looking around my floor down here, sourcing is not the issue. So
Yeah. I wouldn't
maybe
want to have a sourcing problem. I'd rather I'm cuz I don't know, dude. I hear some people complain about not being able to source, like not being able to find stuff, and that's the scariest thing to me.
well, let's be honest. When people say sourcing stuff, sometimes they really mean those amazing dollar home runs because they haven't listed what they have, and that's where they get the pleasure out of is the buying. And I'm that way. I'm just as guilty, right? Like I'll complain about sourcing sometimes. And then I went through my boxes the other day and I found $100 cameras just sitting in a box for like the last year. It's like, okay, well, I'm complaining about sourcing, but really I have other problems.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if people say they can't find stuff, and like, I mean, Chris's treasure chest, he was saying that he found it hard to find things. If he was to do this full time, like, I think he did it for such a short amount of time that it was really hard to give that a shake. But I mean, that was his determination. Like that would be the scary part is not being able to source
So for Chris,
in my mind. I mean, everything else is my problem. But sourcing, if I couldn't find stuff,
yeah,
that would be a concern. Like I stopped buying right now and I still had a huge pick. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. So
you know,
anyway, I could go on for this forever, but
sourcing is everyone has a preference way of sourcing too. So, you know, if
well,
you're
what does that even
sourcing,
mean? See, you say things, and now I was just ready to have the show end here, Carl. And now you said, "What
oh,
does that
sorry, why?
mean?"
Yeah, I talked. Yeah.
Oh, what does that mean? Everybody has a. What did you say?
Preferred way of sourcing, which they enjoy the most.
Oh, a preferred way of sourcing. Like, well, I think you can have a preferred item to sell, and you can have a preferred way to source, but it doesn't mean it should be your only one. You should have multiple of different things.
Yeah, whatever
Like I don't
pays
just
off
niche.
for you.
I like going to yard sales, but I don't just do yard sales. You do private
No,
picks, you do
of course.
auctions. You
Yeah.
gotta sometimes go to thrift stores, but mostly if I'm gonna do anything out of thrift stores, it would be a clothing nature thing because I don't expect anything else. But not that I'm niching the clothing or only, but I have gone for clothing. Um, and you like you've done, you put your card out there at your location there.
Like if
Um,
people came to me and called me and brought me stuff,
yeah,
that'd be my favorite way of sourcing.
yeah, there's a favorite way, but there's I love private picks. That's my most favorite way. But
Yeah.
those only happen, you know, like really good ones 2 or 3 times a year, right?
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. So,
um, and I couldn't just live off yard selling either because first of all, it's seasonal here. It's only half the season, half the
mhm.
year, but there's that's fun and you can do some really good stuff, but it's a combination of a bunch of stuff for me. So anyway.
I think it should be for anyone, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah, that's exactly it. Selling it too should be multiple ways, multiple avenues. Like some might not work for certain people in certain areas, but you have to adjust. Some people do Facebook and eBay. That's some people. I don't do Facebook, but maybe it's something I should look at doing. I do the antique booth. I was planning on doing some 2 shows a year, but because of the move this year, things have really scrambled. I missed the first one. I don't know if I'll get to the second one now, but I'm also selling through auctions and different things too, right? So
Yeah.
you have multiple avenues. Some people do yard sales at the end of the year. It's not a bad idea, if you want to recoup some money and stuff like that to get back what you put into things that are just sitting. There's all sorts of avenues and ways to do it, right? So
yeah, exactly. And
all right, anything else, Carl?
no, that's it.
All right, another Randy show.
Yes.
He said in his comment that he liked the rambling on. So.
Well, we definitely rambled on.
And Don, thanks for the comment. 80
Yep.
is Grady. So 81 is greater one on I don't know. I don't know what to say.
81 is more fun. Yeah.
But she come up with some interesting things too, so maybe we can talk about that next week. I don't know. I mean, we're trying to get away from this because now we end up with 2 hours, which we do now. But at least I don't have to edit it.
That's the thing. It's all one big show anyway, so
All
it
one
doesn't really
big
make
show.
a difference, does it?
And that was the main thing.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Anything else, or that's it?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for coming in and giving your 2 cents worth, as Tina Mack put it. And thanks for your 2 cents worth too, Carl.
Thanks, man.
I think yours was actually worth 3 cents today.
Oh, wow. 50% increase.
All right, bud. Have a good week. Are you going sourcing this week?
No.
Like yard selling?
No, no.
Yeah, I don't think I can do it this week anyways, either. Next
Like
week?
if it's something like there's a lot of max sold auctions happening, but I didn't see anything. I don't know why there's so many auctions happening, but there's a ton right now. They all happen at once. It's funny. So
yeah,
maybe
well,
from
there's
there,
some stuff in the auctions that I like, and I'm just like, I'm pushing myself not to do it, not to do it, not to do it. Every time I have to carry a truckload of boxes down to the basement here, it's an incentive not to do it. So
there you go.
Because I have to get this done. But next week for sure. This week, probably not. Anyways, have a good week, Carl. Hope you sell lots, buddy. Hope you sell everything. Everything.
Wow.
All in one day.
That'd be amazing.
Some rich guy comes in and says, I like this store and I'm going to buy it all.
Amy would be very happy to see it all leave the house.
All right. Have a good week, Carl. Have a good week, everyone. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.